What's up, warriors? How you guys doing? Today we're gonna talk about relationships, man. That subject. It has to keep just on. I gotta keep bringing it up and bringing it up because I get hit up with a lot of questions from different angles, different point of views, and they ask me this or what do I think about this or what do I think about. It's just a lot, man. Relationship. It's just a lot of issues that we gotta deal with. There's a lot of ways to talk yourself out of like doing stupid shit because a lot of us, we ain't ready, we ain't prepared, so, or our emotions get in our way. There's a lot of shit going on, and there's a lot of a lot of things that people end up doing that they regret. They don't know how to stop themselves, or what tools to use to not take it to the extreme where sometimes it's too late. You end up doing you end up doing some poor decisions that are gonna bite you in the ass, and it all stems from not learning, not learning the lesson the first time. A lot of people know that right from wrong. A lot of people know that there's situations that are going to arise, and then you got to tell yourself like, hey, you know what, I've been there before, I'm ready for it. This is how I'm going to approach it now, this is what I'm going to do, or I'm going to pump my brakes here, because you know if I start making it worse by my comments, by what I think, or by me not you know holding my composure or my patience towards something that I didn't like how it was said, or something that they told me, it's all bad, man. And a lot of us know, but it's just our feelings, our emotions. Your mind's not powerful enough to stop that. Like you're still running on emotion, you're still running on your feelings. And a lot of it is just you don't it's your ego, your pride. We all done it. We all have those traits. We all have. Nobody wants to be wrong. Everybody wants to have the last word. That's one of the main problems. Like when you start an argument with your significant other, everybody wants to have the last word. You fucking say something, they respond back, and you gotta say something back. So it's all bad. That's why when I say, somebody has to choose peace over being right, doesn't necessarily mean that you're siding with that person of how they're acting, or it doesn't necessarily mean that you're agreeing with that person, even though it's not right what they're doing. Just by you choosing peace at the moment that it escalated, or at that moment that you're both just furious, and it's not going to come to an agreement at that moment. Somebody has to choose peace over being right, because if you don't at that moment, that of the heat of the moment with the argument, there's a lot of shit that's going to be said, and it's just nobody wants to give in. Nobody wants to swallow their pride, or pump their brakes, or it's just nature. It's difficult, it's hard to do, to bite your lips, to turn the other way, or say no. Believe me, I've been there. I've been put in situations like that, in that scenario where, like, you gotta have the last word. That this is bullshit. That they're wrong. That you're right at this time, but it's just sometimes you got to realize, especially if you've been practicing patience, you've been working towards bettering yourself, like myself. You're using tools to better your life, to better your state of being, or your just you in general. Knowing how to control yourself, knowing all these quotes that we use, or these books that we read of how to tame your temper, or how to negate all those anger issues that people have, because you're not going to get rid of them. And people, they're like, I have anger issues, or how do I get rid of that, or what do I do? I explode, or nobody could tell me nothing, and that becomes a problem. that right there, you just got to realize that, you're not going to get nowhere, acting in that manner. You're not going to get the outcome that you want. There's going to be somebody else, especially, the people that are in your, close to you and your perimeter and your household. Those are the hardest ones that challenges that you're going to have to deal with, because they ain't going nowhere. You just got to, put up with it or find ways to, work with them. So it's going to be work. You're going to have to put in the work, whether it's leading by example, whether you being the bigger person and holding off, or, waiting till everything calms down, and then the approach is going to be different. You talk about it in a different manner, in a different state of mind. It's not going to be, at the heat in the moment, but somebody has to start learning how to, have that composure or have that patience. That's what's gonna that's mastery of self. That's mastery of your inner self. Why? Because you're in control. You're not letting your feelings get in the way. You're not letting your feelings, your emotions, get in the way of just getting out of control. You're in control, and that's where people have to see that you have to work towards that, to being in control of the situation, knowing that situation at that time, it's not gonna come to an understanding. You're not gonna get your way at that moment, especially if that other person is not in the right state of mind. A lot of people that I talk to, their significant other, it goes both ways. They're having, they have issues. They're not, working on themselves, so they feel a type of way. They feel like you're attacking them, or any little chance they get, they're gonna retaliate because they see you doing better, and they're still at a low level. You're at a high frequency, so your high frequency will make them uncomfortable. That starts a problem there. That's gonna start issues there. That's gonna start arguments, and you don't have to say nothing. Just by you, the way you conduct yourself, the way you're acting, your energy, it's just too much for them. So, what I tell people is always when they come in here, if you guys coming in as a couple to both work as a team to better yourself, personal development, eating better, exercising, being healthy, it's going to be, a lot better, because, and I always recommend it. And, I push that a lot, because I know that if one person always takes that initiative first, it's going to be more difficult. It's not going to be easy. It's going to, it's going to, it's going to have its challenges. I seen it, I experienced myself. So I know that, at the end of the day, everything is under your control. You're gonna, it's under your control in a sense that, you could only control what you could control. So obviously you could control yourself from not being pissed. You could control yourself from not saying stupid shit. You could control yourself from not, breaking character. That's the thing. You can't break character in situations like this, because that's pretty much, that's the main problem. People breaking character and not understanding that, you're just going to create a bigger problem. And, but like I said, man, when it comes to relationship, it's a motherfucker, man. It's just, it's not going to, it's not going to be, rainbows all the time. It's not going to be, happy-go-lucky, just a fairy tale, these love stories that you hear. Nah, man. You're dealing with somebody else's emotion. You're dealing with somebody else's feelings. You're dealing with somebody else's, way of thinking, and it's going to have its challenges, and it's going to be you working, on yourself first, and then, helping that person. If obviously, you're, trying to better yourself, because when there's two people that are broken, when there's two people that don't even value themselves, don't even take care of themselves, don't even have self-respect, within, yourself, it's just going to be all bad, man. Those are the relationships that don't last. Those are the relationships that you guys are both not, in a state of growth. You guys don't, value your guys' you guys don't have no value within your relationship. It was just a lot of times it's just you know it just happens where you guys get too comfortable. It's just people they don't value what you guys said at the beginning, of not giving up on each other. And that's a big at the heat of the moment, everybody forgets about the end goal. The end goal is to be with your significant other for till death. And everybody forgets about the goal when they're in the argument. And that's what we got to check ourselves. That's what we got to realize, that is it really worth it? Because a lot of times that's just a fucking cycle that keeps going and going and going, and it's never ending. It's like you already know better what's gonna happen if you at that time, if you fucking start talking back, or start acting in a manner that's you're lowering yourself to their level, and it's not gonna go well. So that's what I gotta say about this. It all starts within working on yourself first. Creating that those strong core beliefs, having that you're just knowing that it all starts with you, and that everything is under your control. And you gotta put that in back of your head, because other than that, you're always gonna lower yourself to that level. Even though you're working on yourself, you're gonna lower yourself to their level, and it's just gonna be all bad, man. So hopefully this video could help you guys. Like I said, me throughout the years, it's just ups and downs, roller coaster. It's never gonna be, never straight. It's never gonna be straight. It's you gotta work at it, or you gotta work at it on a daily. Sometimes, you might be going good for a whole, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but there's always going to be, disagreements. There's always going to be misunderstanding. You're just going to have to cope with it, understand that, those tests are coming, and just ace that motherfucker, ace it. There's no need for you to be creating bigger scenarios or creating bigger problems than what they gotta be. So hopefully this helps. You guys run it. Let's go.